Hey, welcome aboard Starship XJ5. Your pilot, Elon, couldn't make it with us today, so I'm here to step in. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Hey, in this video, we're going to get a little spacey and use the object effects tools. We'll probably cover a couple of them. I'll probably do a few different videos covering a couple different tools in each one. So let's get started with that. So let's I have let's see, let's get these one or two of these vintage rockets in here. This one's cool. This one's pretty cool. Let's grab that one. Maybe some of those stars too. So we're just going to bring all these into the other document. I'm going to copy them and paste them into my trusty old 1920 by 1080 HD size document. So I got these three different rockets to kind of play around with. Hey, that one didn't come in all the way. There must be something locked. Let's unlock. Let's go in here and see if there is nothing in there that's locked. We'll open up layers, window, layers. That's all good. It's all good. Not quite sure what happened there. Let's copy and paste it one more time. In space, no one can hear you scream. Cancel. Delete. All right, let's copy that in here. There we go. Cool. We got a couple different rockets to work with based on what planet we're going to. A lot of interesting tools. I don't use them very often. My illustration style tends to have more of a natural hand-drawn sort of feeling. So I'm drawing things in the real world, bringing them in, and using sort of tools that mimic how I would be moving things around like by hand on a sheet of paper if it was cut out. But we'll use some of these more mechanical tools to just demonstrate how some of these effects work. They're definitely kind of popular with some of the styles that are out there right now. I think one of the most interesting ones is or useful ones is the repeat pattern. And so if you select a shape and click Radial, look at that. That's insane. You can rotate a spaceship or anything around a shape. And I think if you double click on it, or maybe go into the properties menu, let's go to our favorite friend, the properties menu. Do we have, yeah, here we go. We've got the repeat rotation down here. Let me kind of highlight that so you can get a quick look at, that window always goes away. Anyway, let's go back into properties. Window, properties, come back to me, properties. There we go. Okay, so we've got our repeat patterns down here. You're going to have to bear with me with the little spinning cursor. It's repeating 100 times. Let's do 10, and I'll show you what happens. It returns. Now we've got a beautiful spaceship flower. There's all sorts of weird things you can do with this, with like moving this scaling thing up and down here to change how many rockets are going around. That's actually kind of a cool wallpaper pattern. Imagine doing that with like some flowers or something. So that controls the amount going around. I think this controls like how many shapes and where they crop off. You get a little, thing there. So, if you're doing like possibly a sun that has like a triangles around it, and you're just like, I do not want to use that star tool. Let's say if you just took a triangle like this, made it orange, took the object, repeat radial tool, there you got a cool sun. Change the amount of steps around it down here. Let's see, that is, let's go to like 10 again. Click return. Pretty cool sun. And you can then, I believe, might need to, I guess you have to, the other tool to use a lot when you're working with these shapes, if you want to edit them further, is to use the expand tool. It expands the whole thing back into its original vector shapes. So let's say you want to, like, pull some of these in. Maybe make a big burst coming out to this side. Pull this one in here again. You can, just kind of remodify it and start making it a little more organic. But it's a shortcut to get to this point. So that is the radial path, or rotate. Is it rotate, or what is it called? Repeat tool. Let's try one of the other ones. Let's just grab this rocket, move it over here, pull this little guy out of the way. Maybe this one too. So let's jump in and use one of the other tools. We'll go back to Object. We're going to go to Repeat, and we'll go with Grid. Now you're basically, you're creating this is creating the space between them. If you pull down this way, you get a wonderful wallpaper pattern. Again, if you were doing this, you can scale it too. Which, remember, when we were doing the grid before, we had some issues with, or the patterns. Sorry, when we were doing patterns before, there were some issues with, like, scaling and this. This is another way to actually create patterns. So let's delete this guy. Actually, let's keep that one on there. Yeah, see, we'll just go back a few Command Z's. There, we got this shape here. So, let's say we wanted to turn this sort of into like a retro kids wallpaper. We're going to take a square, throw it behind it, make it a nice dark blue, and then we'll just send it behind the rocket. We'll make the rocket maybe yellow. Nah, I think it should be red. That blue maybe should be darker. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And then we're going to grab some of these stars and throw them in there as well and make these a yellow color. Put these yellow stars down here. These yellow stars up here. Maybe draw a little planet in there. We'll go to our shape tool. Draw like a little moon up here. Make that moon a blue. And what we're going to do? We're going to make that a crescent moon by, remember the Pathfinder tool? Hold Shift Option, drag it over to the top. Take these two pieces, go to Window, go to Pathfinder, and I'm always about, like, trying to push the limits. This isn't that big. Got a nice little moon there. And maybe take that moon, rotate it a bit, and maybe do another small planet down here. Another one over here. Make one of them green. So we got this, like, cool retro kids wallpaper. He said, Mom, Dad, I've wanted this wallpaper forever. I'm going to die without it. Son, we'll get you the wallpaper. Okay, thank you, Daddy. So yeah, we're going to select this now, and then we're going to go into Object, Repeat, Grid. Blammo, look at that. Isn't that cool? So yeah, you can actually use this as sort of the same thing as your, the pattern making tool that I showed earlier. It's just another way to do it. So we got one more to look at. I'm going to scale this down because I actually do want to save this one for later. We're going to look at one more of the repeat tools, and that is the mirror tool, which is pretty obvious. It is a lot like the reflect tool that we looked at in one of the previous videos, but it's just a different way of using the tool. Okay, this rocket's all one piece. We're going to reflect this object and go into repeat and then mirror, and you can see it's got an angle that it can mirror across if you rotate these points. I'm going to keep it vertical, and there's no save button up here. It's basically opening up a sub layer, and then if we click back, we've mirrored the shape. And then, if we want to break them apart again, we go to the expand, fill an object, expands everything, and we might have to ungroup it too. Let's see if that fixes that. Yeah, and so now we have it flipped over. I think the reflect tool in general is easier to use. But let's try, whoops, let's try one more thing with the reflect tool and the options. So we're going to go back into objects and we are going to go to repeat. Let's hit mirror. Click OK. Let's see. We'll repeat. Go to options, and it gives us. It pulls up the whole menu, and now we can. We could try the grid here, and like go grid type. I think because we're in the mirror tool, we're kind of stuck. The mirror tool's its own animal, and then we got to go back. But again, with any of these, you could go into the object, repeat, options. We are in grid mode. Actually, this is cool. It's doing a brick layout. We can flip the rows, one going in one direction, one going in the other. Flip them vertically. So it gives us we drill down and we can look at different ways to repeat things. Very, very similar to the pattern making tool, but again, it's just got a few other unique options to make things work. And maybe you'd prefer to use this because the scaling works much nicer. If you grab the corner, it scales. Or if you grab the sliders, it creates more in each direction. So that is the repeat tool that is under the object menu. And thanks for watching. It's pretty easy. Play around with it, get familiar with it, and it might be something that you use all the time.